This is the good thing about speaking. You can remove your mask. It's a good day. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Absolute pleasure to be here. And I want to welcome Minister Gordon, Premier Stephenson. So happy to have our new Premier here. And I also have my colleague, Greg Nesbitt, for the constituency of Riding Mountain here today, too. Other distinguished guests, board members, staff, physicians, and community members. I'm Eileen Clark, and I am the MLA for, I should say, very proud MLA for Agassiz. And it's my pleasure to welcome all of you to the wonderful town and the community of Neepawa for this, what I'm sure we all consider a very exciting announcement about the future health for this region and our province. Our government acknowledges today that we are in Treaty 2 territory and the homeland of the Métis Nation. We acknowledge that Manitoba includes the original lands of the traditional territories, Anishinaabe, Cree, Dakota, Ojibwe, Dene, Inuit, and the homeland of the Métis. We respect the treaties that were made on these territories, and we acknowledge the harms and the mistakes of the past. We dedicate ourselves to continued collaboration in partnership with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit communities in the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. And now it is an absolute honor to introduce and welcome my friend and my colleague, Minister Audrey Gordon. She is the Minister of Health and Seniors Care and also the Minister of Mental Health and Wellness Recovery. And I just have to say that she has been doing an outstanding job in our province, and I am really proud of all the work that she has done, including in our immediate area. Just in the last few weeks, I called on her, and it's really good to know that I work with colleagues that take a great interest in rural Manitoba. So thank you, Minister Gordon.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Eileen, for that warm welcome and that introduction. And thank you to all our distinguished guests for joining us this afternoon. And I'd like to acknowledge some of those guests. Blake McCutcheon, the Mayor of Neepawa. Michael Porok, I'm not sure if he made it here, Reeve of the RM of Rosedale. Richard Funk is also the Reeve of Glenella Lansdowne. Bob Adriansen, Reeve of North Cypress Langford. Dr. Krasaniak, Mountain Medical Clinic. Brent Sorensen, Beautiful Plains Community Foundation. And Greg Nesbitt, our colleague in the Manitoba Legislature. Thank you for coming. I would like to take this opportunity to just pause and thank our healthcare providers and staff, not just here in Neepawa, but across the province. They have worked incredibly hard to continue to provide quality care throughout this pandemic. And we all thank you, we value and appreciate your efforts, and we want you to know that this government stands behind you in supporting you throughout the fourth wave, and really, really appreciate the great work that you've been doing. I'm excited to be here for this announcement that I know will improve quality of care for all Manitobans, not just now, but well into the future. We all know that investing in healthcare services in communities throughout Manitoba will not only improve the physical health and well-being of Manitobans, but also their mental health and well-being as well. Our government's investment at the Neepawa Health Centre is an investment in the improvement of patient care for people living in the community and the health region. By improving services in Neepawa, we're supporting the delivery of more healthcare services that are more convenient for patients living in the area. This announcement today is a part of Manitoba's Clinical and Preventative Services Plan, and the plan was developed and led by clinical leaders and health system experts from across the province. Detailed planning that was carried out looked at population growth and community health needs, the distance to specialized health services, and the stability and reliability of the province's health workforce. I'm extremely happy to be part of the exciting time for the Neepawa Health Centre. Thank you again for joining us this afternoon, and it is my pleasure and honour to introduce our Premier, Premier Heather Stephenson.
Thank you very much, Minister Gordon, for that introduction. Very much appreciated. And just to my colleagues, Greg and Eileen, thank you for being here. As I mentioned last time I was here, Eileen, I think it was a couple of months ago, that I would be back. And so I'm here, I'm back, and I think for what is a very exciting announcement today. I know we were asked about this last time we were here, and I said stay tuned, and I know some people don't like it when I use that term, but this is about us being back in your community, and with something that I think is a very exciting announcement today in Neepawa. So I want to thank Dr. Brian Milligan, Community Medical Officer, Neepawa Health Centre, and your staff and leadership, as well as the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation, representatives from the Prairie Mountain Health Region Health Authority, and indeed all of the healthcare providers and staff in this region who have worked tirelessly to provide care throughout this pandemic. Thank you all for your dedication, your commitment to patients and their families, especially during these very difficult COVID times. I want to thank my colleagues also for being here. Of course, our government's bold vision for better health care focuses on reduced wait times, improved access, and more services in communities closer to home. Together, we are taking another significant step in achieving that goal here today in Neepawa. As part of the largest capital health commitment in our province's history, I am pleased to announce that Manitobans living in Western Manitoba will soon benefit from a new hospital to be built right here in Neepawa. This $127 million investment will replace the existing Neepawa Health Centre and include at least 60 acute care inpatient beds, nearly double the current Neepawa site. An expanded and modernized emergency department designed to best practice standards that includes treatment and assessment rooms, a trauma room, stretcher bay, and an ambulance bay, and enhanced space for a number of programs, such as surgery, diagnostics, and palliative care, as well as various outpatient services, including dialysis and chemotherapy. The new facility is expected to be at least twice the size of the current site. The site for the new hospital is in the process of just being finalized, with construction slated for completion in 2025. It's important to note that while this brand new facility will be located in Neepawa, the hospital will serve patients from the broader surrounding region that are in need of more specialized services, reducing their need to travel to larger centers like Brandon and Winnipeg. Today's announcement builds on our government's commitment to better health care closer to home for people and communities of rural Manitoba. Earlier today, I was pleased to be in Dauphin to also announce a $5 million renovation and expansion of services at the Dauphin Regional Health Centre, building on a number of previous investments in rural health care facilities. As identified in Budget 2021, our historic $812 million investment will support 38 projects in all regions of our province and will form the foundation of Manitoba's new provincial clinical network, a system of health services that will improve access and enhance the quality and reliability of care while reducing provincial wait times. We will continue to invest in better care closer to home to ensure that all Manitobans have timely access to the services and the procedures that they need when they need them most, right here at home. Thank you very much for allowing me to be part of this today. It's an exciting day, I think, for the region.
thank you very much, Madam Premier. It's a good day in Neepawa and area for sure. And thank you, Minister Gordon, for being here as well. As a rural Manitoban, and proud rural Manitoban, and a member of this region, I'm confident today's announcement will greatly improve the health and the well-being of Manitobans who live, work, and play in this beautiful area of our province. And it's interesting, it's about 7 years ago I was running for the nomination in this area, and that was the question I was asked the most about the hospital. And it's 7 years later, but stay tuned is okay now because it's coming. And I just know there's just a few people here today, but I have to speak to the working and the collaboration of the municipalities surrounding Neepawa. This is not just the town of Neepawa. When I was at the opening of the expansion of the medical clinic, and I listened and heard how the municipalities work together closely and are so supportive of the greater picture. And you know, as municipalities, that's what we've tried to promote for so long, is working regionally. We have to work regionally. And Neepawa has set out very fine examples with your medical clinic and now with this hospital. These things don't happen without teamwork and collaboration. And I am just beyond proud to be here today to be a part of this announcement. And now I would also like to call on Brian Schumbart. He is the Chief Executive Officer for Prairie Mountain Health to say a few words. Please.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk, and thank you, Premier Stephenson, Minister Gordon. Thank you very much for being part of this great, momentous announcement today. This is a huge step forward, and it confirms Neepawa's continued role in providing exceptional care to our patients, clients, and residents. PMH recognizes that the Neepawa Health Centre provides very essential services for a growing population in Neepawa and surrounding area. The new health centre will expand physical space and will allow for services to grow alongside the population in this part of the region. As already heard, the expansion will be for at least from 35 acute care to at least 60 beds. So that's quite an expansion. Of course, a new emergency department, treatment rooms, ambulance bay, all of the things that the Premier has already announced. But this is a huge step forward for the provision of health care in that all of these are expanding the provincial and regional goals of offering services closer to home as possible for our patients, clients, and residents. I'd also like to acknowledge that this area is really greatly served by an excellent group of physicians whose skills support the delivery of our many important services offered here. Over time, and with the support of stakeholders, Neepawa has been able to successfully build a strong collaborative physician complement for this part of the region, so congratulations on that. Of course, our health centers could not function without our tremendous healthcare staff in all areas. Our staff have and continue to rise to new heights and answer the call of duty for these very extremely busy and challenging pandemic times. A sincere thank you to all of our staff, our true healthcare heroes, for their dedication to the patients, clients, and residents that they serve each and every day. With that, thank you very much for all attending today, and we look forward, all of us, including me, to this project as it comes to fruition over the next few months. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian, and also thank you for your leadership and collaboration and commitment to provide better health for all Manitobans in communities closer to home. It's very important. We have to travel, but when we know that we've got a hub where we can achieve and receive all the services that we need with quality care, it's reassuring, to say the least. I know that everybody far and wide in this area is going to be really happy about this. And now I'd like to welcome Dr. Brian Milligan, and he is representing the physician group here in Neepawa, to the podium to say a few words. Dr. Milligan.
Thank you, Premier Stephenson, Minister Gordon, MLA Clark, Mr. McCutcheon, and Mr. Schumbart. I'm Brian Milligan. I've been a family doctor here in Neepawa for a little over 10 years now. It really is an honor to be here for this announcement. This hospital has been dreamed of for at least 15 years. In fact, I remember as a medical student being invited to a meeting with the Minister of Health. Dr. Ong, Dr. White, Dr. Potker, Dr. Anishko, and Dr. Roche were there. I remember it being a big, beautiful building. Somehow I remember the minister's assistant offering me a soft drink. And then I remember the minister almost falling off her chair when that group of doctors asked her for a new hospital. But she must have seen something in that group because here we are today. And I believe what she saw was a steadfast determination to do what they could for their patients. Now, I'm proud to be part of that group of physicians. We're as determined as ever, working to care for the patients in Neepawa and our many neighboring communities. We have a wonderful team to work with at the hospital, and we've also had the unwavering support of the health region for this project, and I'm very grateful for that. I've had the opportunity to see some preliminary drawings for the hospital, and I'm thrilled with where the plans are going. It really is going to be a state-of-the-art, beautiful facility, and we're going to be able to offer even more services than we do now. It's going to be great for Neepawa and all of our neighboring communities. I just want to take this opportunity again to thank Prairie Mountain Health, our health minister, our premier, and the whole clinical and preventative services plan for caring about the health of rural Manitobans. You can bet their doctors do, and this hospital is really going to help us achieve our goals.
Thank you, Dr. Milligan. And I want to echo the comments made from our Premier Minister. Thanks for the work that you do, all your colleagues, and especially the past couple of years. Oh my goodness, it's been overwhelming. And I mean, the past month alone in Neepawa, Gladstone, McGregor areas in our smaller communities dealing with COVID within the facilities. I can't say enough about your courage and your integrity and just all the work that has been accomplished. I have been on the receiving end with my mother being a senior having to go through this, and she's actually in your hospital right now getting fantastic care. So a big thank you from all residents of Manitoba for taking good care of all of us. And for your compassion, your dedication. I see that every day at the hospital, and your commitment for providing quality care for the patients, our families, and it has been challenging times, but we do thank you. And last but definitely not least, my good friend, Mayor Blake McCutcheon, Mayor Neepawa, please share a few words with us.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone. The first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to welcome the Honourable Heather Stephenson, our Premier of Manitoba, and Honourable Audrey Gordon, the Minister of Health and Senior Living, to our town of Neepawa. It's a great pleasure to have you here. I'd also like to acknowledge Eileen Clark, our MC for today, and of course our respected MLA for Agassiz. Thank you. Brian Schumbart, CEO for Prairie Mountain Health, and our own Dr. Brian Milligan. As Mayor of Neepawa, I feel very fortunate to be standing here before you as the person representing our community. Listening to the previous health-related news releases, we have patiently waited to see what the new plan meant for Neepawa and the greater region. And the announcement today is the one that we had so hoped would be forthcoming. Words cannot express the significance of this news, not only for the town of Neepawa, but for the surrounding communities. As part of the district hub, under the Manitoba Clinical and Preventative Service Plan, it is a privilege to play a key role in the transformation of health services in the province of Manitoba, and we look forward to working through the logistics of making this dream a reality. You know, one of the many things I've learned as mayor is that skills and ability to manage the exploding growth of a town like Neepawa do just not magically happen. It has been a combined effort of positive thinkers and believers, both past and present, and for that we are thankful. Building on the vision of not only the current council and administration, but the vision of many dedicated, community-minded people before us, we can take pride in the shaping of a strong future not only for Neepawa, but for the greater community. With Neepawa's population reflecting a 27% increase at the time of the 2016 census, it was clear that the strategic planning and adapting change was essential to overcoming the many challenges of growth. And although the 2021 census data has yet to be revealed, we know that the population growth continues, and as will our determination to turn obstacles and challenges into opportunities and possibilities. Today's announcement reflecting an investment of $127 million for the construction of a new health facility in Neepawa is a clear and conscious commitment to providing quality health care for all Manitobans. And in closing, as we position ourselves at the end of 2021, we are excited about the future. We look forward to participating with the transformation team to successfully advance this project for not only Neepawa, but for the greater region and for the betterment of Manitoba. Thank you.
Thank you, Blake. This is so much better than fighting floods, eh? much better. Time to move forward. Before we wrap up, I again want to take the opportunity to thank Premier Stephenson and Minister Gordon for being out here in Agassiz, specifically Neepawa today, and all the healthcare leaders that are here, as well as all healthcare staff, for sharing this important news that will benefit this community and this region for many, many years. This is a giant step forward. This concludes the formal portion of the program, and our officials are very happy to take your questions from the media. And following that, we will ask all the delegates here today, and including physicians or whoever, to come outside for a group photo. Thank you. Were there any questions? I can have either the minister, yes, go ahead and I'll call up to the podium.
Question here. Obviously, this has been something Neepawa has been talking about for 14 plus years, but serious deliberations and considerations on this plan. When did they really start to take off?
I think it happened when we got a new premier, maybe, eh? No, just kidding. Go ahead.
Thanks very much, and appreciate the question. And you know, so certainly a lot of this has already been started. I just want to introduce Ian Shaw, who's here with us today, who's really spearheading the transformation, and he's sort of the leader behind that as well, and working closely with the minister. So this is obviously very exciting for the region, and thanks for the question. I think it's exciting. Other questions?
Ken Waddell, Neepawa Banner Press. I think every next question on everybody's mind, we may or may not have more than what's already been revealed today, but where? Or how, and I'm sure you can answer that today. Brian might tell me, but you know, does anyone know what kind of timeline on the site? Because that's the next question a lot of people are going to ask. Where is the site? Can people follow things virtually? They can answer that timeline.
Yeah, I think just it's in the final stages right now. We're not at the stage right now to announce that, but it's forthcoming. We'll keep you posted. Stay tuned. Maybe I'll just have Ian Shaw come, and he can maybe address a little bit more of that as well. Thanks, Ian.
Hi there, thank you for the question. As the Premier said, we've been working on the plan since 2018, actually, when the first part of the clinical plan worked. We had a group of 300 clinicians working all across Manitoba to drive the plan. They were organizing groups in teams by specialty area that included representatives from rural Manitoba as well as the folks in the city. They were multidisciplinary teams. That work resulted in the government approving the plan in late 2019, and since then we've been working on the implementation work with all the regions, and that's been the process to answer the previous question about where we ended up today. You'll know, if you're familiar with Neepawa, the site of the current hospital isn't where you would locate a hospital in the current world, and so work has been underway to identify sites, working closely with the town. Those sites have been identified, and there will be work occurring over the next little while in terms of due diligence on the final aspects of the site, geotechnical work and other things, and a decision will be forthcoming in the early part of next year.
Rain Pryor, NECTV. You've indicated that the timeline we're looking at 2025 for completion of the construction project. Will there be any services or specialties available prior to that date? Or is it all one shot in 2025?
So everything will be gearing up for the 2025 date until the spaces are available. However, in the planning, we'll be planning for all of the supports and space. The functional planning is occurring as we speak, and all of that will be ready for the 2025 date.
Does the new hospital mean there could be a potential reduction of services at the Minidosa Health Center?
No, the Minidosa facility will remain as is. Primarily the changes to here are for specialty services that others can access in neighboring communities, as we've mentioned, and to address the population changes in the area. So no, Minidosa will stay as is as a health facility for a region. Very important one at that.
You talked about the preliminary drawings being near completion or at completion. Is there any sort of schedule for when the public will be able to see those preliminary mock-ups?
Thank you. Yep. Yes, Healthcare has a long practice of working with community stakeholders and patients. So the normal process, the drawings that were referenced really are kind of part of the definition of the functional requirements. They're not design drawings. They show the relationships of spaces and other pieces. The project, as a result of this announcement, allows us to do some more consultation with the community, with some of the clinicians, other service providers in the hospital to finalize those requirements. And early in the new year, the project will move into design. And as part of that, there will be the normal things that you see around projects like this, open houses, consultation with people. In some of the specialized areas, patients will be included in some of the detailed planning. So that will happen into next year. The project is planned to start construction at the end of next year, and projects like this usually start with work on the site first and then proceed to build the foundation and other things. So there will be lots of opportunities for the community and stakeholders to participate in the program as we move forward.
If there's no further questions, I just want to, on behalf of myself and Agassiz, our Premier, and all our colleagues in the Manitoba government, including the opposition, who has just lost a member of their caucus in a tragic accident yesterday, which we are very sorry for. But we want to wish you all a very Merry Christmas, a COVID-safe Christmas, and a safe on the highway Christmas. So all the best. We hope that 2022 is a much better year. Not that this one hasn't had its good highlights, but we look forward to better days ahead health-wise. So thank you very much for being here. It's a pleasure.